Hello YouTube, Brandon from Zoid Industries here with this week's episode of ZI Weekly News, this channel's weekly news segment where I cover science, sci-fi, gaming, channel updates, and more. With that out of the way, let us get into the articles. And let me tell you, it was a bit hard to find some that were interesting this week. So, yeah, let's get into the ones I could find. Spider-Man Homecoming writers reveal villain's original backstory. Give it a second. Another more part where I'm gonna have to cut in order to get this thing working and so I can read it for you guys. So back when it's working. And back. The Marvel Cinematic Universe does not have the best record with villains, but Spider-Man Homecoming took the franchise a step in the right direction. The film's main villain, who is one who forgoes as guardian grudges or AI god complexes, the Vulture is a grounded baddie who thinks he's doing what is right by the little man. However, the Spider-Man movie did not always have the Vulture's backstory aligned so perfectly. Talking to Yahoo Movies, John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein opened up about the writing gig on Spider-Man. The pair discussed how they made the Vulture, aka Adrian
Brandon, I'm leaving and the girls are gonna go to bed. No fighting.
Adrian Toomes, a villain fans could sympathize with. To do that, the screenwriters decided they needed to make the iconic baddie more approachable. Once we started talking about the Vulture, it was clear that the version in the comics wouldn't do. It was this bald old man, and Goldstein said. It never felt terribly scary on film to us, so we thought, alright, let's make him more of a middle-aged guy. As the Vulture continued to develop, Dolly revealed Toomes was once meant to be a teacher to Spider-Man, but that the idea was quickly axed. He was still stealing from damage control, but we had a different way into it. Toomes was going to be Peter's teacher, and then we were like, no, let's separate him fully from the school. Well, or at least so it seems. And that's, I think when we decided to make it, if the love interest is bad. Lol. The writer explained. Of course, there are still some fans irked by the fact that Toomes just happened to be the father of Peter Parker's love interest. Queens isn't so small that the coincidence makes sense, and so it's better to have the Vulture be an overprotective parent than a teacher. fans expect a boy to be at odds with their date's dad, and at the very least, having TOMES be a teacher would have just come off as a bit bland. Oh, it's now in theaters. Cool. Well, no spoilers. No spoilers in the comments. No. A young Peter Parker, or Spider-Man, played by Tom Holland, and who made his sensational debut in Captain America Civil War, begins to navigate his newfound identity as the web-slinging superhero in Spider-Man Homecoming. Thrilled by his experience with the Avengers, Peter returns home where he lives with his Aunt May, played by Marissa Tomei. I'm not going to try to pronounce that, because I'd probably butcher it. And sorry if you can't see much of my face during this one. Again, glasses, they really help. Well, under the watchful eye of his new mentor, Tony Stark, played by Robert Downey Jr. Peter tries to fall back into his normal daily routine, distracted by thoughts of proving himself to be more than just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Sorry, I had to. Pausing for just a second. And I'm back. Let's see. But when the Vulture, played by Michael Keaton, and emerges as a new villain, everything that Peter holds most important will be threatened. The cast includes Tom Holland, Michael Keaton, Zendaya, I don't know. Pausing for a second again. Donald Glover, or Jacob Batalon. I don't know, I'm butchering it probably. Laura Harrier, Tony Revolori, Tyne Dolly, Bokeem Woodbine, with Marissa Tomei and Robert Downey Jr. It also includes Ron Favreau, Martin Starr, Kenneth Choi, Michael Mando, Leyva, Isabella, Amara, George Lindeborg. I feel so sorry for his name. He must get jokes of resistance is futile. Junior, JJ Ota, and Hannibal Buress. And that concludes this article. On to the next. And now for the next article, which is Google leaks. Oh, dang it. Pause. Hopefully that doesn't get this a copyright strike. Sorry. I try to mute all ads and stuff. Oh, stupid thing. I'm gonna cut till it's... Oh, I'm back. Back on the article. Okay. Google leak shows Pixel 2 is massive. Finally, it's the Google Pixel 2 leak we all wanted. Following months of incremental details like mysterious code names and benchmarking specs, we now have the big kahuna, exactly what Google's new flagship smartphone will look like, and it's huge. Just a second. Android Police, which has an exceptional track record, has delivered the renders which show a dramatically redesigned phone which can proudly stand toe-to-toe with the Galaxy S8 and what we expect will be Apple's overhauled iPhone 8 design. Come on. That is definitely an interesting picture. And back in a second. Android Police says the phone pictured is Timon, which is expected to be the second generation Pixel XL. Whether it's the first generation Pixel XL, the render coupled with Android's Pixel 2 XL or Pixel XL2 remains unclear. Sorry. 1 second. And compared to the first generation Pixel XL, the render coupled with Android Police's additional information reveals those numerous alterations and enhancements. Here's a breakdown of the key points. New minimal top and bottom bezels. Well, that's cool. A massive 6-inch 144 OP0 LED display. Shift in the display's aspect ratio from 16:9 to 18:9. And like LG G6, but Galaxy S8 uses 18.5:9. Display has more curved 3D glass, but not edge panels. One top speaker grill, possible for use as a second external speaker. Significantly enlarged single rear camera. Reduced glass back panel. Lower placed fingerprint reader are now in aluminum chassis. The rear antenna band removed. Squeezable frame, which can be assigned to a shortcut like HTCU11. Back in a sec. As mentioned, HTCU11. And as mentioned, Android Police has a great track record. I'll be right back. As mentioned, Android Police has a great track record. It nailed the original Pixel design and says renders are based on information from sources we deem extremely reliable, while stressing we are exceptionally confident. And if Android Police is right, and I'm pretty convinced it is, further new case leaks back this up. Then Google has taken to heart some of the criticism that greeted the original Pixel, notably its large top and bottom bezels, mediocre external speaker, and reduction in the size of its polarizing glass rear panel. Plus, the bigger camera should mean larger sensor that should bring larger pixels, which will help with low light shots, and B, deliver a wider depth of field when combat's one of the greatest benefits of a dual camera system. All the while it saves on the extreme power draw dual cameras require. In fact, the only downside to all of this I can see, apart from the price, has nothing to do with the Pixel 2 XL at all, but the smaller Pixel 2. And last year, Pixel and Pixel XL were identical except for size. But this year, Android Police says the smaller Pixel 2 will not have the design changes of the Pixel 2 XL and instead be positioned as a cheaper model, while that would likely leave fans of smaller handsets feeling shortchanged, especially since the original Pixel has such large bezels, as it makes the 5-inch phone larger than it should be. That said, for money, the Pixel XL was the best phone of 2016 and it's still my favorite phone this far into 2017. And that's it for this article. I'm going to take a brief break to charge the camera before the next one, and see you then. Hasbro still hasn't released a Star Wars Monopoly set with Rey due to insufficient interest. Well, let's get into the article, if it doesn't lag. Come on. I had problems getting to reading this article. I'm gonna cut once it starts to respond. Oh wait, it just moved. Dang it. It went by too fast. Just a second. Come on. I'm gonna cut here and wait till it's starting to work. Come on. And I think I might just cut here and wait for it to respond. Okay, this thing just hates me. I am gonna cut here. Wait for it to respond. Following the release of Star Wars The Force Awakens, fans pointed out that its central character Rey was conspicuously absent from the first wave of toys, including Hasbro's new edition of Star Wars Monopoly. After the outcry, Lucasfilm announced that Rey would be a prominent part of the next wave of toys, and Hasbro said it would add the character to the next release of the game. A year later, that hasn't happened, reports the Associated Press. The 2015 edition of the game featured 4 of the main characters from the franchise: Luke Skywalker, Finn, Kylo Ren, and this thing's being junk shit again. Cutting till I get back to where I was. And Darth Vader, but not Rey. Irritated fans started a hashtag Where's Rey? And even the film's director J.J. Abrams said that Rey's absence was preposterous. This prompted Lucasfilm to claim that her absence from the set was a way of preventing jerks, or I think that's leaks. Hold on. 1 second. Preventing leaks about her character before the film was in theaters. Hasbro eventually produced the game piece for the Monopoly set, which it sold in several countries, but not the United States. According to the company spokeswoman Julie Duffy, in the explanation, insufficient interest. Fans who really want the piece can contact Hasbro's customer service line to request a piece. Hasbro's explanation that there's been insufficient interest might be technically correct. There could very well be few people asking specifically for a Star Wars Monopoly set with a Rey figure. But this ducks the bigger issue at hand, ensuring that female characters are fairly represented on toy shelves. As when asked for comment, Duffy told The Verge wrote in an email that while the updated game sold in some markets, the original version of the 2015 game was selling well in the US, and retailers had adequate inventory, so they opted not to list the new version. And she went on to explain that Hasbro determines marketplace and specific availability based on retailer interests. And she also explained that Ray was later added to other games, including Operation Trouble and Trivial Pursuit in 2016. The presence or absence of a game piece or toy sitting on a store's shelves might just be a minor irritation for some. I'll cover this in the channel update. But it speaks to a larger issue, given that children internalize gender discrepancies and attitudes from an early age. Having a balance would help counter them in viewing a regressive mindset from an early age. This isn't something that's limited to Star Wars toys either. In 2015, Target announced that it was moving away from gender-based signs in its toy aisles, saying that such references are unnecessary. So while Hasbro might put itself on the back for getting the figure into the hands of customers, it's clear that there's quite a lot more that it should do. Yeah. And that concludes this article. On to the channel update. And now for this week's channel update. Hopefully, starting tomorrow, we'll be getting back into the reading of the history of Planet Z, or at least tomorrow from the time of this recording. Then, after that, I've still got to think of what I'm going to showcase for Friday. And whether it be art or some toy or something I have here in the studio. Then... Oh, the, minor irritation about toys not being found in certain stores or shelves where I live. There's a distinct lack of pretty much a lot of popular toys I'm seeing advertised on TV on the store shelves. And again, that's probably got something to do with the fact that the population where I'm living is more adults than kids. But hey, I'm still a kid at heart. I want to play with that stuff. I like playing with Pokemon and stuff. I think I just got an idea for what I'm going to showcase Friday. Here too. But yeah, and then obviously you saw my little pretend to sneeze when actually saying bullcrap thing at the gender discrepancies thing on that article. Oh, and that's, again, I'm not afraid to admit I'm in touch with my feminine side. Hey, I know most guys nowadays, if they're like that, get labeled gay, queer, whatever. But come on, guys. We can cry a movie too. We're all human. And we have the same emotions. And we're practically all the same on the inside. So there's no reason to do any of that. Oh, that basically concludes this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. See you on the battlefield.